Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Good morning. How do you do? Alright. I want to talk to you about something that I felt inspired to discuss with someone yesterday. It is something I feel quite passionate about, and so I wanted to do that yesterday, but it's been on my mind for the rest of you because I know a lot of you are here with me and you've got aspirations. A couple of you last week had got promotions, and I think that's probably what triggered me to think about things closer to my home and had me on the conversation yesterday. You see, when you're a member of a team and you can tell each other your secrets, you can tell each other your genuine thoughts, the people who are your colleagues, they can know how you feel about admin. You can share your frustrations with admin with them because you are down there with them. And to be honest, at the time when you are down there with them, telling them your views and all these things is fine. Until one of those people is promoted to become your supervisor or your manager. It has happened to me from both ends. I have been very good friends with people at work, and then they got promoted and suddenly they sold out. Suddenly they were not with us anymore. Suddenly they were management and they were siding with management. I think a lot of people don't realize that a promotion to managerial position confers onto that person a new allegiance to management that they probably didn't have when they were in the trenches with you. Yeah, when they are promoted, it is their responsibility to tell the managers what you are thinking. When you are thinking of quitting your job, you could tell your friend, and it may not have put your job at risk, and you could quit when you were ready. Well, when your friend becomes the manager, it is their responsibility now to tell management when you are likely to quit, so that management can start planning your replacement. So yes, the information you shared with them in confidence may not necessarily remain in confidence. And that is even if the person is conscious of it. There are many times that people declare information to their line managers without knowing. It's unconscious. So they know you are quitting. They don't really want to sell you out. But sometimes in conversation, it will just come out, oh, well, yeah, Mehmet says that, or a person says, oh, we don't have staffing issues. And at that time, it will come, no, we do. Because, and then it's out there. Sometimes it's unintentional. It happened to me with somebody before. I had shared something in confidence. They knew that that thing was important to me, but I needed time to be able to execute on it. They went for a meeting and they were planning and strategizing, and then suddenly it popped out of their mouth. Who's this? It pops out of their mouth unintentionally, and they tell the Council of Elders what they knew in confidence, and they had broken my confidence. What was beautiful about it is that this person was so remorseful. They came straight to me. They did not hide it. They came straight to me to say, look, girl, I am so sorry. I did not intend to. We were discussing such a thing. We were in the flow of it, brainstorming, and then I don't know what came over me. This popped out and I shared it. And I'm so sorry. I tried to backtrack, but you know they are not stupid. So look, I want to give you a heads up. I wanted to tell you myself. I didn't want you to find out from somewhere else. And I appreciated the honesty, but the damage was already done. What I was not ready to share had been shared. And because what I was not ready to be shared had been shared, there were actions that needed to be taken that I wasn't quite ready for. Actions that needed to be taken from both sides. that I was not ready for, that they were ready for, and it put everybody in a very funny situation, especially the person who had been caught. And yeah, that person was a friend. We had spoken in confidence, and they had broken my trust accidentally. At the time, I did not understand why they broke my trust, but I understood it years later when I myself found myself on the leadership program. When I knew somebody was going, I would be making decisions around the person going. Unfortunately for me, the person I was being line managed by was a very astute man manager. Person read people, and the person would read my actions and say to me, look, I do know that you know something. I know you know a member of your team is making a move. I can see it in your plans. I know that you will never tell me who this is, but I just want you to know that I know that you know, and that's enough. But you see, that bothered me because that meant that this person was now watching my team members closely to try and figure out who this person is. I was caught in the middle because I knew something I could not share. My instinct to protect was at war, and my instinct to be faithful to those who had also put me in position. And that's the thing with leadership. You will be caught in wealth, especially when you go into middle leadership. When you go to senior leadership, that's different. At senior leadership, at least you are getting the fire from the bottom only. Middle leaders will get the fire from the bottom, and you will get the fire from the top. And it's the thing most of us start with, and that's where I want to start this conversation with you. You have just been promoted to go be line manager to your friends. Know that your friends, if your friends are astute, they are going to change how they behave with you. So yesterday, I was telling this friend of mine, listen, when we return to work, you will find that I will be silent. That's how I deal. When you ask questions, I will say nothing. When you walk into rooms, I will be quiet. When I'm having conversations with other friends that you used to be part of, I will stop talking when you walk into the room. And in fact, because I do not know if the rest of them are smart enough to read this accurately, I will be silent around all of them. All of them. I will share my dreams, my hopes, my fears with nobody. I'm telling you this because I do not want it to be a surprise. I know this person is one who likes to feel like they are doing right by people, and so it's likely that they will take this to heart. And so I said to her, don't take it to heart. It is not personal, but it is necessary. Let me explain. It's not personal, but very necessary. And it's to protect you and I said to her. And she asked, what do you mean? It is to protect me because there are certain information that I do not want to be known by certain people before I am ready to share. So to protect me, I need to keep that information safe. But also to protect you because you may be forced by people at your top to declare things. Or sometimes they may not even force you. You may accidentally blab because you are under pressure. Or sometimes you don't even blab, but in your body language, an astute person would read situations. And if I knew that my information has leaked to the top through you, we are going to have problems. We are going to have major problems. And to preserve our relationship, to make sure that we don't put ourselves in that situation, I am going to withhold information until I'm ready to share with the top. Because whether we like it or not, you are now the top. You are now part of the top. What doesn't happen a lot is this conversation I was having with her. Most people don't have this conversation. I have this conversation now from experience. I've gone to the top and dipped back down, and I know what it would feel like for her, and I know what it would feel like for me. I am the older of the pair, and so now I act in responsibility. I am the older of the pair. It is my job to make sure that the actions that need to be taken are taken. And so I wear my big girl pants, and I have this conversation with her yesterday, knowing that she may not even understand the full extent of what I was saying yesterday, but it needed to be out there so that as things go on, as situations present themselves, as they find that I am silent when I am withholding information, when I look at her with suspicion, at least this would be at the back of her mind, and she hopefully may have a chance to know why those behaviors are presenting. But also, not just for me, I know the other members of the team are going to feel this. A lot of them do not know they are going to feel this, but they will. I know a lot of them are going to act. Different people will act differently, but we will be handling the same situation. And so I was hoping that my conversation yesterday was giving her scaffolds and frameworks for managing what is to be a very difficult position to come. And I'm telling the rest of you here, especially those of you who are hoping to be promoted from your team to the top, what it means to ascend from ground up into leadership. These are some of the practical things that only the core manuals and very experienced coaches would be able to prepare you for. It is not something without training you would know. It is not something that will come to you intuitively. Your intuition would say that a person is your friend, and so you will go into management and they will continue to trust you the way they trusted you, and that they will help you to succeed. And all those things might be the case, but you will forget, or you may not know this simple component that changes the dynamics totally. It changes the dynamics. There's no running away from it. It changes the dynamics totally. Why am I sharing? I'm sharing because I am wearing my big sister pants again. I know a lot of you need to know this. And if your organization is typical, the managers in your organization are not experienced managers. They may not even know to offer you this training. A lot of people, when you go to middle leader management program, training programs, it's around having difficult conversations. But experiencing difficult feelings are not discussed typically. The conflict of leadership. If you intend to lead, conflict is your companion. Suspicion is something you cannot be afraid of. Everybody is suspicious of their manager because you are in a position to make decisions that would affect them seriously. And so the smart ones should be suspicious. They should be suspicious. If they are not suspicious outright, they should be wary, at least minimum wary. People should be careful around you. And when you experience that around people who have never been careful around you, ooh, that is shocking. The first time it happened to a friend who had gone into, the person felt so betrayed. They called me and they said, well, I don't understand your behavior. What do you mean? Well, I'm sorry. You have withdrawn. And I'm watching this person quietly thinking, and you don't know why I have withdrawn? You do not understand why I am suddenly careful around you? Well, if anybody is supposed to be my friend, if anybody is supposed to have my back, if anybody is supposed to help me manage this, it should be you. And I'm looking at this person thinking, yeah, that's true. But if anybody was supposed to be careful for me, it should be you. If anybody was supposed to be protective of me, it should be you. If anybody was to be one I could trust, it should be you. But let me give you some instances that have betrayed my trust, and that's the reason why I am suddenly very cautious around you. And I started listing. I felt betrayed here, I felt threatened here, I felt this way, I felt that way, I felt this way. And halfway through this, I was in tears because I knew that my friend and I were coming to the end of a road, of a relationship we had worked and maintained for a long time. And they were also in tears because we realized the same thing. The things that I was aggrieved about were fundamental, but they could not promise me a deviation from it. They could not promise it. It would not be true. The things that they were concerned about were fundamental, but again, I could not also allow my safety and security to become a risk. I could not. And so guess what? It was my job to make sure that I was safe and protected, and I was going to double down to do it. And it was their job to make sure that they were safe and protected, and they were going to double down and do it. And when we walked off from that conversation, both of us knew that our relationship had changed forever. It had. We would still do lunch. We had not become enemies. But my deep, honest feelings around how I wanted my career to go, around the courses that I wanted to take and the reasons why I wanted to take the courses, around, we were playing poker, this person and I. We knew that we had entered a poker game, and each person will have to hold your cards to your chest. When you play a game of poker, you don't declare your hand to your opponent, no matter how friendly you are with your opponent. And yeah, my friend and I were suddenly playing poker, and each one of us needed to put on our poker face. And it was very strange for us to navigate putting on the poker face and seeing the poker face, because we had never done that in our relationship up to that point. But we were in a poker game. We had accidentally, unintentionally, inadvertently entered a poker game, and play we had to play. Some of us, sometimes we were playing to win, and sometimes we were playing to save face. Either way, when you play poker, your poker face must be in place and your tactics and strategies kept close to your chest. That was the very first time. Thinking back, I had experienced some of this as a young girl. My friend had become my supervisor way earlier, but because we were young, I had not thought about it. And she was not strategic. I was not strategic. I did some of her job for her, and it was not a problem because she was my friend. So that was okay. And to be honest, at that time, I was also not tactical. So I did not have anything to hide. There was nothing she would know that would be difficult for management to know. But at this stage, especially at this stage in my career, there are tactics. At this stage in my career, I am nobody's bitch. I do not want to do people's agenda. I want to serve my agenda. I want to do exactly what I've been paid to do, and not a thing more. Management always wants you to give more than they have paid you for. And so that already puts us in a position of conflict. Management will want me to be jumping like a lapdog. I am nobody's lapdog. I am not. times where I would need to go to conferences and to go for situations that serve me. And no, I do not need to declare all that completely. When I organize time off, management should get a generic reason why I am organizing time off. It's unpaid time. That's all they need to know. That I do need time to go do something that's important for me, and I do not expect them to pay me. That's the end of that conversation, really. They do not need to know the details of where I'm going, what I'm doing. Well, I would need to tell them what I'm doing generally, briefly, but how that fits in my career goals, that is not in management's place to know, and we want to keep it that way. We do want to keep it that way. But you see, in your office, when you are chilling with your friends, you'll be busy telling them, yeah, I might do this, yeah, I do this, yeah. And it creates a profile. And so for me, people who work with me will probably understand. Fortunately, not many of them end up on this feed. But if any of them were to see this, my behavior would make a lot of sense. I don't sit in my department offices at all. And if I sit there, my headphones are probably always in. My headphones are in. And when conversations come, I almost pretend not to hear. Because people like to pry. They want information. And so usually I'll get up and I'll leave the office. I don't sit in the office a lot. I'll go find somewhere else to sit. And in fact, the more strategic I get, the more evasive I become. When I'm working on something specific, when I need to be present, when I need to be working on things, when I'm very excited about things, when I'm in danger. When I'm very excited about things, there's a huge danger that out of excitement, I might open my mouth to share my excitement and give information out. In those situations, I avoid people as if they are lepers. And the people I avoid can be the people who are very close to me also, and that becomes problematic. Why are you avoiding us? I am trying to preserve a bit of distance so my long mouth does not open out of turn. I'm very excited, and so when you've cracked something open, it is almost inevitable that your mouth will also crack open and you will start blabbing. When that's not an option, well, I run away from people. I escape. I run away from people. I find myself little corners to go hide in. And the people I'm running away from often don't read it accurately why I'm running. And so the question comes, why are you running? I'm running because I need to maintain some distance. And it's never pleasant when a person needs to maintain distance from you. What's wrong with you? And why is a person trying to maintain distance? Do they not trust you? Do they question you? Yeah, all those things. All those things. This morning, I don't see any of your comments. So if you've made any comments, my apologies. Facebook and its app, this is what they do to me. Don't know what to say. However, I hope that this conversation serves you. Hold on a minute. Morning. It's very interesting how some of these guards know you and others don't. When you are not known, you've got to identify yourself. Anyway, also just about arrived at work. I have a class in 15 minutes, so I need to go and get set up, ready to go. But this is a conversation I wanted to put on the table. I want you to start thinking about it when you get promoted, and I want you to think about it when your friends get promoted. Because when your friends get promoted, a lot of you foolishly continue the way you are with them, and then you share information that puts both of you in a very funny position. Don't share information with your friend in management if you do not want your top managers to know, because they may accidentally share that in their moments of weakness and create a situation for both of you. If it is that important for her to be guarded, well, you start the process of guarding it. You guard it. You be the custodian of your own information. If you can't guard it, then you can't be mad at somebody else who can't guard it, you know. You should be able to guard it. If it's that difficult for you to guard, then it probably will be that difficult. Hello. Good morning. I'll catch you guys later.